They always told you, never chase women, let them chase you. But then real life hit you, and you realized a brutal truth. Women almost never chase men. You feel trapped. If you don't pursue her, nothing happens. But the moment you do, she loses interest. So what's the secret? There are two kinds of pursuit, logical and emotional. And if you don't understand the difference, you'll end up one of two things, ignored or used. In this video, I'll reveal the hidden psychology behind the game of hunting and chasing, and why the only way to make her chase you is to start as the hunter. If you're new here, subscribe and stay till the end. Hit like, share this video, and most importantly, pay attention. Let me take you back a few years. I met a man named Roberto, owner of 3 successful restaurants. Women were everywhere around him. Calls, messages, invitations, attention non-stop. I thought, this man must know the secret. But after spending time with him, I realized something devastating. None of those women loved him. They chased him, yes, but not for who he was. They chased his bank accounts, not his soul. This is what I call logical pursuit. When a woman comes after you not from emotion, but from calculation. She sees a clear benefit: money, status, connections. Her brain does the math. If I stay with this man, my life gets easier. And sure, it can work if you've got a fortune to burn. But here's the problem. It's a relationship built on quicksand. One night, after a few drinks, Roberto told me something I'll never forget. Brother, I feel like an ATM with legs. When the money's gone, the love disappears. And he was right. Those women stayed, but with one eye always on the door, waiting for someone who could make them feel something real. That's the curse of logical pursuit. It has 2 fatal flaws. First, it's nearly impossible to sustain. Not every man has millions or a famous name. Second, even if you do, you'll never get what every man secretly wants: a woman who loves you for you. But here's where things change. There's another kind of pursuit, one any man can master if he truly understands the female mind. It's called emotional pursuit, and it's the most powerful weapon in all human relationships. When a woman chases you emotionally, she can't control it. You become her addiction, the drug her nervous system craves to feel whole. She can't relax unless she hears from you. She seeks you. Not because logic tells her to, but because her heart demands it. And here's the secret: this kind of pursuit can be created, cultivated, and mastered. Let me give you an example that will change how you see everything. Imagine a friend offers you a cigarette one day. "Here, try it," he says. You take it, you smoke, you like it. A few days later, he brings you another. After a while, you start expecting those cigarettes. Weeks later, you don't wait for him anymore, you look for him. "Hey, do you have another one of those?" And one day, he says, "Of course, but now it costs 20 pesos. What happened there? At first, he was the one giving. Then, you were the one asking, and in the end, you were the one paying. The same thing happens in relationships, but instead of cigarettes, we're dealing with attention, emotion, and connection. As the great strategist Machiavelli once said, "In the game of power, the one who controls the other's emotions controls the outcome." Women are no different. At first, you give her small doses of attention, then you disappear, then you return with a little more, and slowly, she begins to crave it. That attention becomes like air, something she can't live without. Now, don't misunderstand me. This isn't about manipulation or cruelty. This is about understanding human nature and working with it, not against it. Because women crave emotion. They crave challenge. They crave uncertainty. They want a man who makes them feel alive, not one who drowns them in constant predictability. But here's the tragedy. Most men do the exact opposite. They meet a woman they like and instantly become her obedient little pet. Texting non-stop, always available, endless attention. Then they wonder why she loses interest so quickly. The answer is simple. If something is always available, it loses its value. If something is predictable, it becomes boring. But when something appears at the right moment and then pulls away, it creates need. And emotional need is the fuel of real attraction. Listen. If you've made it this far, it's because you actually want to change your life with women, and that alone makes you different from most men. Most settle for shallow advice and keep failing, but you're here for the truth. So if this message is opening your eyes, subscribe to the channel, because what's coming next is even deeper, and I only want to share it with men who are truly committed to their transformation. Now that you understand the difference between logical pursuit and emotional pursuit, it's time to learn how to become the kind of man that women chase, without even realizing why. And to do that, you must master both phases of the game, the hunt and the emotional conquest. This is where the truth begins. You already know emotional pursuit exists, but now you have to create that addiction in her. And this is where most men make the biggest mistake of their lives. They confuse being a hunter with being a chaser. Listen carefully, there's a massive difference. The chaser begs, pleads, crawls. The hunter takes initiative, but always from a position of power. As the masters of strategy said, he who acts with purpose and inner strength conquers. He who acts from desperation destroys himself. Let me tell you something that changed my life forever. Years ago, I met a man named Fernando. He wasn't handsome, he didn't have money, and yet women melted for him. One day, I asked him his secret. He said something I'll never forget. Brother, the difference between success and failure lies in how you ask a question. At first, I didn't understand until he showed me. Most men ask, "When are you free to hang out?" That's begging. Fernando would say, "Tell me which days you're free this week. I want to take you somewhere amazing." See the difference? One asks for permission, the other takes control. That's the first rule of the hunt. Never ask followers questions. When you say, "When can I see you?" you're really saying, "You lead, I follow." But when you say, "Tell me when you're free," you're saying, "I lead." You decide when it fits your world. It's subtle, but women feel it instantly. And now comes the most powerful lesson. As a hunter, your greatest weapon is not persistence, it's scarcity. Here's a golden rule that has worked for decades. Contact a woman only once a week in the beginning. Once, no more, no less. I know what you're thinking. But if I only text her once a week, she'll lose interest. Wrong. You'll create something far more powerful. Curiosity. When a man contacts a woman every day, he becomes predictable. But when he reaches out once a week, with purpose, with confidence, he becomes intriguing. Here's the psychological trick that most men never understand. Women are used to being bombarded with attention from the very beginning. Constant messages, full availability, desperation disguised as interest. But you're going to do the opposite. You'll appear, you'll make an impact, and then you'll disappear. Think of yourself like an expensive perfume. If someone wears too much of it, it becomes suffocating. But if they wear just enough, at just the right moment, it leaves everyone wanting more. That's exactly what you'll do with your presence, your attention, and your time. Let me show you how this looks in real life. You meet a woman on Saturday. Instead of texting her on Sunday like every other guy, you wait until the next Saturday. Then you send something like this. "Hey, I remember you said you love art. This Friday there's an incredible exhibition. Let's go at 8. Wear something elegant, because afterward I'm taking you to a special dinner." Now pay attention to every word. You're not asking if she wants to go, you're assuming she does. You're not asking what she wants to do, you already have a plan. You're not begging for her time, you're inviting her into your world. That is the hunter's mindset. Now comes the real test. The moment that separates the hunter from the desperate chaser. She'll tell you she can't make it. She's busy, she has plans, whatever. And this is where most men crumble. The chaser says, "What about Saturday or Sunday? When are you free?" The hunter says, "No problem. Maybe another time." And that's it. You don't insist, you don't beg, you don't offer alternatives. You accept her answer with the calm, effortless dignity of a man who has options. And that simple reaction does something extraordinary in a woman's mind. It tells her you're not like other men. You don't melt at rejection. You don't bend your life around her. You have your own rhythm, your own priorities, your own self-respect. And here's the magic. In 70% of cases, when a man reacts this way, she comes back. Sometimes in a few hours, sometimes in a few days. She'll text something like, "Hey, my Friday just freed up. You still want to go to that exhibition?" Why? Because you've just become the only man in her life who doesn't beg for her attention. But be careful. If she doesn't come back, don't chase. Stick to your system. Wait a week. Talk to someone new. Because here's the brutal truth. A true hunter is always hunting. He doesn't obsess over one prey. This mindset will change your life. Because instead of putting a woman on a pedestal and begging her to choose you, you become the man that women compete to win. And when you finally go out with one of them, you'll already have established the perfect frame. You are the prize, not her. But the hunt is only the first step, because once you land that first date, you need to know exactly what to do, how to ignite the kind of emotions that make her the one who starts chasing you. And that is an art that demands surgical precision. Now comes the part where men are separated from boys. You've got the date. You've proven you're a hunter, not a beggar. But this, right here, is where most men destroy everything without even realizing it. Let me ask you something. How many times have you gone out with a woman who seemed genuinely interested? You had a nice conversation, you laughed, you talked about work, about family, and then silence. She never reached out again. I bet it's happened more than once, and you probably thought, I don't get it. The conversation went great. We connected. That's where your mistake lies, brother. You didn't have a conversation of attraction, you had a conversation of administration. An office talk, not a seductive one. Listen carefully. Women don't fall in love with what you say. They fall in love with how they feel around you. And there's a world of difference between making a woman think and making a woman feel. Let me tell you something that changed how I understood women forever. I had a friend, Carlos, a therapist. One day, he said something that hit me like lightning. Women don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. That one line shattered everything I thought I knew, because I realized I'd been asking all the wrong questions. What do you do for work? Where are you from? Do you have any siblings? The kind of questions any man can ask, the kind she's answered 1,000 times to 1,000 other forgettable faces. But here's the secret few men know. There are questions that reach deeper, that touch the soul of a woman. Questions that make her eyes light up, that shift her breathing, that pull her closer as if you're the most fascinating man in the room. For example, instead of asking, "What do you do in your free time?" ask her, "Can you remember a time you did something so exciting you couldn't stop thinking about it for days?" Feel the difference. One question pulls her into facts, the other pulls her into feelings. Instead of asking, "How was your day?" ask, "What was the moment today when you felt most alive?" Instead of, "Do you have plans for the weekend?" ask, "If you could do something completely crazy this weekend without worrying about consequences, what would it be?" As the Florentine strategist once said, "He who masters the emotions of the moment masters the memory of the future." Because every time she recalls that conversation, she won't remember your words. She'll remember the feeling, the spark, the excitement, the sense of being alive in your presence. But here's the crucial part. When you ask these questions, you must be genuinely interested in her answers. Don't fake it. Don't use them as tricks. Women have an emotional radar sharper than you can imagine. They can detect fake interest from miles away. And when she responds, don't rush to tell your story. Go deeper into hers. If she says the most exciting thing she's ever done was a trip to the mountains, ask her, what was the moment that stayed with you the most? How did you feel when you reached the top? Make her relive that emotion with you, because in that moment, you're not just hearing her story, you're making her feel it again, and she'll forever associate that feeling with you. That's the secret. You're not just learning her story, you're making her feel the same emotions with you. In her subconscious, you become the source of those sensations. And there's a moment, a very specific one, when you'll know you have her full emotional attention. Her eyes stop wandering. She leans in closer as you speak. She touches her hair or traces her neck without realizing it. Her voice softens, becomes warmer, slower, more intimate. That's your moment. That's when you test the kiss. It's not complicated. In the middle of an intense conversation, let your eyes drift down to her lips, just for a second, then bring them back to her eyes. If she looks at your lips too, that's your signal. If she doesn't pull away, doesn't turn her head, move in slowly. But here comes the master move that almost no man understands. Once you've created that deep emotional connection, once you've awakened those sensations in her, you have to do something completely against your instincts. You must end the date at its highest point. Yes, you heard that right. When the conversation is flowing perfectly, when both of you are laughing, when she's most open, most connected, most alive, that's when you stand up and leave. Why? Because you'll leave her hungry for more. All it takes is for her to go home thinking about you, replaying every second of that conversation, wondering when she'll see you again. Most men ruin it by dragging the date out until it dies on its own, until the spark fades and silence takes over. But not you. You'll walk away when she least expects it, right when she wants you to stay. That's how you turn a moment into a memory, a spark into a craving, a date into the beginning of emotional pursuit. And here's the most important part. Don't promise another date. Don't say, "I'll call you," or "see you soon." Just look her in the eyes and say, "I had an incredible time with you." Then kiss her softly on the cheek and walk away. That night, she'll lie awake, thinking about you, replaying your words, your voice, your energy. And by morning, she'll be waiting for your message. That's when you've triggered emotional addiction. But now comes the most delicate part of the entire game, turning that need into active pursuit. This is the most dangerous stage. You've built the connection, you've awakened her interest, and now she's the one starting to chase you. She texts more often, she calls, she asks to see you, and this is where 90% of men destroy everything they've built. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Andrea. After applying everything I've just taught you, she began messaging me every day. Good morning. Good night. Photos of her day, her meals, her little moments. I thought, perfect, I've got her. And that's when I made the stupidest mistake of my life. I became fully available. Every message, I replied instantly. Every call, I answered. Every invitation, I said yes. And within 2 weeks, Andrea went from chasing me to treating me like her brother. What happened? I killed the tension, the mystery that made her desire me in the first place. Listen carefully, because this might sound contradictory, but it's the most important truth you'll ever learn. When a woman starts chasing you, don't become completely available. That's the deadly trap most good men fall into. As the great Florentine strategist once said, power doesn't lie in constant strength, but in the ability to withdraw at the right moment. Once you have her emotional attention, controlled distance becomes your most powerful weapon. But be careful, this only works after she's emotionally hooked. If you do it too early, before that connection is built, she'll think you're not interested, and she'll disappear for good. The key lies in timing, knowing when to pull back. So how do you know she's truly hooked? It's simple. She starts most of the conversations. She looks for you, without you chasing her. She makes plans with you or easily fits herself into yours. She starts sharing intimate details about her life. And most importantly, she gets irritated or distant when you don't reply quickly enough. Once you see those signs, that's your cue to activate selective availability. Don't always be free when she wants to see you. If she invites you out on a Saturday, sometimes say you already have plans. If she calls, sometimes don't pick up. Wait, call her back hours later. Let me give you the exact rules, the structure that keeps the game in your control. Out of 3 invitations, accept 2 and decline 1. Out of 3 calls, answer 2 immediately and return the third a few hours later. Out of 5 messages, respond to 4 right away and delay 1. Does that sound calculated? It is, and that's exactly why it works. Because women are biologically wired to value what they can't fully have. This isn't cruelty, it's human psychology. But here's something crucial. When you turn down an invitation or delay a reply, never explain yourself. Don't say, "Sorry, I was busy," or "Didn't see your message." You don't owe anyone an explanation. Just act as if it's completely normal to have your own life, your own plans, your own priorities. And then something fascinating will happen. She'll start trying harder to get your attention. Her messages will become longer, warmer, more detailed. She'll start asking personal questions. She'll suggest more interesting plans. In short, she'll begin to court you. But now comes the real psychological duel. Because once she realizes she's emotionally invested, she'll start testing you. She'll mimic your moves, pulling away to see if you'll chase. She'll send colder messages, take longer to reply, cancel plans at the last minute. It's her way of testing whether you're truly different from other men. And this is where the truly confident men separate themselves from those who are only pretending. When she pulls away, your response must be simple. Do not react. Do not chase. Do not ask what's wrong. Do not try to fix what isn't broken. Stay grounded in your life, your work, your purpose, your priorities. If she comes back, perfect. If she doesn't, also perfect. Because that means she was never the right woman for you. Most of the time, though, she will come back. but this time with a new level of admiration. Because you've just shown her something no other man has. You're the one man who doesn't crumble for her attention. And with this strategy, you won't just make her chase you, you'll keep that chase alive for months, even years. Why? Because you've taught her something powerful. Your attention is valuable, your time is limited, and being with you is a privilege, not a right. And now, brother, you hold every piece of the puzzle. It's time to learn how to maintain that power throughout the entire relationship. There you have it, the complete roadmap to turn any woman into your emotional pursuer. From the first hunt to the art of controlled distance. You are no longer the man begging for attention, you are the hunter, the man women feel compelled to conquer. Remember this timeless truth. She must see you as the prize, not the other way around. Apply everything you've learned here and you'll start noticing the change immediately. And now it's your turn. In the comments, share one piece of advice you'd give to other men about this topic. Your words might just change another man's life. And if this content opened your eyes, subscribe for more of the hidden strategies from the game that few truly understand.